Hi, today marks one more year, and tomorrow shall be the beginning of the fifth year of Health Beyond Healing. It started off as a dream. 3 years down the line, we decided to make a shift in the primary course where this organization needs to head from being just a consultation unit. We put consultations and such things a little behind and look forward to concentrating on the primary product that this organization sets to come up with. The direction moved towards research and education. In the last 1 year, we moved ahead with priorities on our foremost product, the primary software, IOScan. We are moving on it. There are technical issues around it, which is related to programming and such, which is why phase 2 and 3 are yet to come out. But the long road is very well planned, and in tweets on X, some of it has been shared how the whole thing integrates down in the line. Also, during this course, we have come down to a point where we are now working to get papers in place towards the other objective of Health Beyond Healing, that is education, with the establishment of Ayush Ayurved University Hospital in collaboration with Ayurvedic Health Iceland and Vedamakti Iceland. Ayush Ayurved University Hospital Trust will focus on education, which is the primary of such projects. Why this becomes important is that, unlike the last 4 years when I talked of financials and everything, I close that point in one line that everything has been steady and looks to go steady as is was. And I say as is was, not as it was. So that means we remain optimistic, we remain futuristic about the steady flow, slow but steady flow that we are going with. The other aspect to it is that we are more focused on the backbone of the whole thing, that is IRScan for now. IRScan needs definitely to go into phases 2, 3, 4, 5, and the fastest and the better way we can. But there is a cultural thing that I want to share, something that comes to me through all my observations across my conversations across the globe, and fantastically so, it is a part of the Indian culture in both the forms. Just that different parts of the country have different aptitudes towards it. This also is in the perspective of marketing, which is one apparent area where we have not worked much, or rather nothing at all. But this year coming down, year 5, that is something that needs to and that will be looked at being the focal point. Uh, there are two ways of marketing. One is the US way and one is the European way. And in the European way, I would pick up the French and the British looks of it. When I look at the US way, which most people are conversant with, is about a civilization which was detached from its roots and found place in a land which was completely cut off from the rest of the world. An unstable civilization finds its roots and its culture in instability, and they find it important to show themselves as imposing, and that imposition comes to them by means of volume and size. So, the basic concept that everybody thinks around marketing is that the thing should be wider in access, much wider in availability, and much big, towering to say, in its presence. This applies to a product when the product is not unique but just one among them all. Then it would be its packaging or its color or its size or its price that will determine how it is marketed. And that is where volume marketing, size marketing, all those concepts will come into place. But if we go unlike to a civilization like, say, one at Paris or in Britain, they thing relates to not what the volume or the size is, but the finesse of it, the quality of it, and what it really contributes to the world. These civilizations reflect upon being attached to their roots. They don't feel themselves insecure. They are rather into the idea of how they are adding value to the human race. Much like even the Islamic world in the Arab countries, who, if you look at their way, their progress economically is very silent, and they also do not market themselves or their products in a voluminous shape. They look to add value to what they are offering to the world, not just a product. This relates to any product which is unique in its character, which comes with its innate properties of leaving an impression behind by virtue of its performance, and is towering in its personality by the message that it carries. Health Beyond Healing and Ayurscan in that league attempt to leave an impression continually at every footstep that education per se is critical. The literacy of Ayurveda that is very well available to the world is very shallow. It remains an indomitable fact that Ayurveda is a matter of substance because it does ruffle a lot of feathers when talked about, but sadly, it only ruffles feathers which is very enmity like, because you're not leaving the right message across. And in the last 1 year, as we have progressed in our shift of health beyond healing towards education and research, and an organization which looks to back research somewhere down the line with very high goals set, somewhere discussed in some academic forums, we realize that Ayurveda perhaps is a completely misread, a completely misrepresented, and a completely mistaught a subject. When I say that, the reason for it is that medicine, the way we look at Ayurveda, or lifestyle, the broader way, the way we look at Ayurveda, is only an application of a much broader subject which covers a lot of modern sciences and defines its backbone in mathematics. To my view, even modern medicine is merely an application of the other sciences, that is physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So, Ayurveda is no different, and teaching of Ayurveda needs to progress in that direction. What Health Beyond Healing is looking to work along with Ayush Ayurveda University Hospital Trust will be in this direction, that we're working across curricula which covers primary education, which is school education, and university education, all of it down the line, to cover Ayurveda as a whole subject. That means access to a lot of sciences which are very complicated otherwise to know, lot of which is not even taught and studied at school level in those perspectives. You are always introduced to them, so I'm not talking or saying that it's something new, but the perspective is not there. And that is theoretical sciences, applications of algebra, applications of trigonometry, applications of logic driven computing. Those all encompass what Ayurveda education needs to come as and from. Also, Ayurveda education will only find foundation when these subjects are taught in the same perspectives. Ayurveda, the graduation that we study, is actually not even the right position where it has to be taught, unless you have the background in the school. So, either there should be a curriculum at the primary level which introduces these things in relation with the modern sciences as of the day, or Ayurveda by itself needs to graduate to becoming a post graduation or a super specialization subject than in its present form of graduation. Keeping these concepts in mind, we are going about discussing creating a curriculum which will take some more time, definitely, because it's not so simple a thing that we are trying to achieve. But the idea rests on the long term vision that once you start studying at Ayush Ayurveda University Hospital, you don't merely become an Ayurveda doctor, but you become an Ayurveda scientist. A doctor is merely a technician. Beyond a doctor is a scientist when he can rationalize why, what, when, where, and how of what he's doing or how he's doing. So it's not just a cause and effect relationship. Rather, the way we are doing it today is cause and action relationship. We are least concerned about the effect as such. Another thing that we are looking to bring in, experimentally we have done it in India, is mass import or relatively voluminous import of Vedamag through the HBH platform in terms of sales and distribution. We have the required understanding between Vedamag, AHI, and HBH already. The elementary requisites of licensing are being worked upon, and also associated nitties of taxation are being worked upon. As soon as we can get those clearances in, and we can get the clearances on FDA regarding magnesium L-threonate being disseminated in the Indian market very, very wholly, we look forward to mass distributed within the country. As of now, we have already been bringing some of it on demand, and we have quite encouraging results with magnesium L-threonate, with particularly 3 diabetic patients, to say, going back without medication. We have one patient on ADHD going back partially, and we look to expand the scope of using it. The hurdle that we are facing is the cost of it, but we can't really do much about the cost unless we have all the clearances for mass propagation and mass dissemination. Hopefully, this year we will be able to do some mass trading about it. We are also now keen on reworking our doctors network, and this was talked about last year, but we could not. This year also we faced the same hurdles of economics, but I'm trying to, rather not we, I am personally trying to work around a model where I can go back to everything as it was in 2022, 2021. Post COVID, yes, the struggle has been long and it still remains very much similar. But I don't mean to make hollow promises, and that's why I'm not talking of anything new. I'm reiterating, and this reiteration is only to say that nothing is forgotten, nothing is left behind. We continue in the same direction. Yes, the focus has moved to education, and that because the product and the company identify itself with a much larger goal, with a much broader vision, which may not just be a 25-year vision, but a vision of a lifetime, which is in Ayurvedic terms more than 100 years. So, furthering a century long vision, it is not always going to be an easy thing, and that is something known. I have some years in my hand, I know, and I will definitely find one of you to lead it in the future. The point is, who among you will stay along with me? The point is that as of today, this whole enterprise is about a vision. The commercial success of it may be the European style and it may take some time. It is definitely not the US style. It is definitely not what I ever envisioned it. So, the idea of it being appearingly big or appearingly mass disseminated and mass dominated is going to fail. Not that I ever tried and failed at it. Fact is, I never tried about it. I may have talked about it in the same tone to somebody just to come across a conversational hurdle. But on a personal note, I always know that the vision I am talking about is too big for a mass dissemination just on a casual note. So now we are focusing on in the next 3 to 5 years on three different things for funding. We are working on the necessities of what we call as uh, public paper placements. There's another technical term to it. I'm just trying to make it simple to understand, which will be basically limited amount of people investing into the company over a period on a limited amount of cash. They cannot go beyond that cash value of investment. Those are regulations, so nothing that I can do much about it in terms of how much you can raise in a year and how much an individual can fund. The other thing that we are looking, or I am looking and keen upon, is the IPO route, with the doors having been opened across for an SME IPO, which is of a much smaller size and has lesser paperwork to do. So that also is something to be looked at, but it definitely is not happening in this 1 year. SME IPO is something that we may be targeting 3 or 5 years down the line, or if we achieve a certain financial target much before that, then. And the third thing that we are going to start immediately is product based investments. I'll just brief on that. You can invest into one particular product on the platform, and that investment will be for a period of 5 years, in which you are not expected to use it, but you will have a certain return assured about it. And in 5 years or before that, there will be two conditions. You will be, the condition would be that you would be paid back a certain amount based on your investment, and that amount be either in less than 5 years time, or at the end of 5 years you will have that amount with you. A one person cannot invest in more than one product, and that is more like a product equity plan. This is to focus on basically generating a product line which we will be selling across, and this one is going to be exclusively an HBH product line, where your investment is your equity in that product. Once your equity has returned, and it is not going to be an indefinite investment. As I said, there would be a limited value given to you, and the day either those many number of units are sold to return that value, or it is 5 years, whichever comes early, your amount will be returned to you, and then you can invest again into another product. This is going to be exclusively through individual single herbs and individual phases of IR scan. As of now, for phases of IR scan, we are yet to work out the investment strategy, so you're not expected to come on that. But for products, you are welcome. Another thing that we are looking to do as part of our marketing plans is recently we initiated diabetes reversal game plans, which are incentive based financial models, and these will be introduced in all metabolic conditions like PCOD, adenomyosis, endometriosis, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, hyperparathyroidism, or anything else. We will not be introducing these in conditions like cancer. We will not be introducing these in conditions like autoimmunes. We will not be introducing these in conditions like uh, where extreme joint replacements are there, but we may introduce it in segments like osteoarthritis and such. The idea behind these is to encourage our principal idea that the purpose of medication at Health Beyond Healing is not to keep you on medication perpetually, but to get you off medication, the sooner the better. With this, I will summarize and end, and the summary goes in one line that Health Beyond Healing is going to carry on its work in the direction of education, research, and furthering the entire idea. And our marketing values, our sales strategies, our propagation strategies are going to be value centric, ethicality centric, and contribution centric, unlike being mass disseminative or volume disseminative and size disseminative. We don't need to boast of what our size is or how many people are we sitting along with, because the product does not talk about it, the company does not talk about it. We are intent on rather saying that we are here for you and to help you, but no compromises on quality, no compromises on substance, no compromises on the essentials. Let's join hands and keep our hands joined as we have done all these years, and we shall make it definitely somewhere down the line each other proud, ourselves proud, our future generations proud, with this century long vision and a short term goal of 25 years that I've always talked about, not that I'm talking about in the fifth year. So 4 years are already gone on the road to 25. Thank you.